Oh, that was fast. I just hit the button. Yeah, this is our call. The 13th of April. Anna and I are here to discuss UX and front-end stuff for the release stage. Yeah, so Andrew, you have the first item, so go ahead.
Oh yeah, okay. So it says PTO. So I'm going to be out all of 15.1. That'll be very exciting, which means that we got to get a lot done in 15.0 and look real good.
I think then I'll follow up with that. Follow up with Chris on the 15.1 planning, right? So that you also have an idea. Because I know for UX, and that's what we talked about last week. I also discussed this with Chris just now, that I have a very small backlog on things on my plate right now, and I want to look further ahead, right? I want to look at the next quarter, right? The next 3 milestones. What are we thinking in terms of themes that what we can accomplish? And maybe if you're going to be out on 15.1, it will be interesting to have that discussion before that milestone so that we can plan a little bit ahead. I don't know, just you're thinking a lot here. It would be nice to have that, you know.
So yeah, I did put a little note in the 15.1 planning issue to remind everybody that I'll be gone, so that should help.
Okay.
But I'm also kind of at this point where I'm just going to keep bringing it up until it happens, because I don't know, I imagine something will happen and some front end will slip into the plan accidentally, and
I'll be like, no, don't do that. So okay,
yeah.
so we do have the 15. Which one is this? I don't know which one I linked. If it's the 15.1, 15 something.
We have the 15.0.
Too many tabs. I got lost. Sorry.
Oh yeah.
Okay, this is the 15.1, and I think now this is 15.2. Right? 15.2. For those who are not seeing my screen, I'm just adding. Did I add the right ones? 15.1, 15.2.
Yep.
Cool. And there's the 15. Oh, let's wait. I'll follow up with Chris and Nicole. I think, yeah, just let's make sure that, yeah, we at least try to prepare a bit ahead. But we can follow up, I think.
Right.
And I added here to the agenda the merge requests that I did not review yet. So
yes, let's look at it together.
Let's do it.
So I've got 2 versions of the feature kind of in the same MR right now. Basically, the first one I did was if you check this box, it adds a section called tag notes to your release notes, but it doesn't insert them into the input box. It just appends it at the bottom, which means that if you want to edit the notes, you have to edit the release after you have to make the release and then edit the release, which kind of stinks a little bit, I think. And then if you are editing a release, I think probably not having the checkbox there makes the most sense. You don't want people to continuously accidentally add tag notes over and over and over again. The other version of the feature that I built is down here, and it's just a little section on the release block, I guess, that just has the tag notes in a collapsible section. And we can do this with like a pajamas collapsible section. I just did this one for speed. And again, it's in like a pre-formatted block. because I think if we go this route, we wouldn't be able to link to other GitLab entities via the tag notes as easily. But if we go with this, because it's kind of markdown-ified, we would be able to link to issues and MRs and things if people wanted to do that. That being said, there's probably a way to like make this markdownified as well. Like I just have to look into it more. But they're both in pre-blocks because the tag that I picked is not markdown, so it like all stacks into one line and it doesn't look very good. And once we decide which direction we go, I can make a tag that actually looks nice as markdown and we can show it off. What else? What else is going on? We could do something like including this checkbox to make it show up over here, but that would add a bunch of backend work, which would be no fun.
No, I don't. I think it's also a bit of overkill because there's so much info also in that page. Because it will be like show and hide the tags, right? If you add that here, no.
Yeah.
I don't think that's necessary at this point. Because you can go. I mean, you have the link to the tag there, and if you want to go, yeah, right, you can just go see the same information there.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question. I have two questions actually. So on the first version, where you have like on the screenshots on the issue description, yeah, there. So this is the preview, right? But when you are writing, after you click the checkbox, it's going to be auto-populated, right? Automatically on the text area section on markdown format. Okay.
So it how does it work? It doesn't like fill the tag notes into the typing box.
Oh.
It just adds it to the bottom of the preview box.
So it adds to the preview, and then it do be added to the final release notes, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, makes sense. That's why you showed only the preview. That makes sense to me now. Yeah. Okay.
And we can probably, once everything spins up, we can play around with it a little bit.
Can we, if we don't go with the pre code block, right? The thingy, can we bullet the list? Can we have like the tags in an unordered list, or is that too much?
It's kind of tough because it's there's only one tag message, and then the tag message itself is kind of whatever people feel like typing, right?
That's true.
This is my go-to testing project, and then we can go to releases.
That was going to be my follow-up question, right? Because you mentioned that you picked a tag that is not marked down, so you stack on a single line. But then I was thinking, would there be a case where the tag gets rendered like formatted differently? But I think you answered my question. You can just put whatever on that tag description. Can you put an image on the tag description?
I don't think so, because it has to live. It has to live in Git, right? That would be.
But a link to something.
Yeah, if you did like a markdown link, we could do like our tag notes could theoretically. We could make a tag here. Hold on. Where are the tags? Tags. Let's make a new tag. Let's call it v8.0.1. So then we can add whatever we want here. We can add like this kind of is treated as markdown. in the end. Bold. Italic. Image. I don't need these release notes anymore. We should maybe get rid of that or something.
There are so many issues to get rid of that.
Yeah.
We actually have something. Okay.
I have to remove the. I still have to remove the like pre thing, but basically this will all be marked down. But again, because people can enter whatever they want for tag notes, I don't think like trying to shove all of this into a list makes a lot of sense either.
Okay.
The original issue, which I will bring up. The original issue reads like they want fancy formatting, basically. So I think that's kind of like, so like removing the pre tags would be an important part of that, or else it's basically the same as what the tag page is doing now.
Okay. So if you go to now your merge request and then the second screenshot, because I think both proposals, they complement each other, right? So yeah, there. I do think we should go with the collapsible, just because people can add whatever they want there. And then this page already has so much content. But I do think that's my feedback, right? My perception, just as a designer, not as a user, but that we should place this under the release notes. Yeah.
Okay, so you prefer just showing the tag notes if they exist.
Rendered below, below the release notes, because with the release notes, you can have, we saw that last week, right? All the different headers, and I think it will look odd if you have, assets and then evidence collection and then annotated tags. It just feels like there's a lot here on this little area of the page, not so balanced, and we can format that to be something extra, but also when it's collapsed, you can see the tag notes, and then right after that, you can link, right? You can click to see the tag. But if you have a very extensive release note there, you kind of lose that context.
Yeah. Okay. And then do we want it in like an accordion kind of deal like this?
Yeah, kind of similar to what you have now for the evidence collection. But then just put it collapsed by default. So
you want these 3 dots, or
no, no, just like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So move the text to the bottom of the release note. So general feedback. I'm gonna take some notes here. Release note, add in a collapsible component, collapse by default. And then I think on the, you cannot add it, right? So to your point, because you cannot edit the tags. So you're just gonna be editing your release note, etc. On the create page, I think you can also move it to below the release notes field. Yeah, the checkbox thingy.
So you want this checkbox as well as showing it on the
no
over here?
No, go back. Just now it's it says release notes, and then there's a checkbox. So instead of
Right.
being on the top of this input field thing, at the bottom. So
And then what does this do? What does this one do?
what do you mean?
Well,
It's just the
because so
order.
like
Just swap.
so on this
Just-
page, right? On this page, it's just
Mm.
here. Like it's just
Yeah.
shown as part of all the data.
Yeah.
And there's like there's no, I don't know. I guess it's shown if there is a message, right? And if there isn't a message, it's vanished. Whereas on
Yeah.
this page, the checkbox includes it as part of the markdown,
Mhm.
right? Like this checkbox doesn't control this thing. So if we're going to go with this page, like if we're going with this collapsible thing, then this checkbox doesn't do anything anymore. Right.
So,
These are the two options. You either include it as part of like the release notes here,
oh, Andrew, I thought they were complementary because I thought that, okay.
or it's a separate section entirely.
Oh, but can we combine that? Can you have like, go back to the previous tab? So I'm a user, right? And I come in this page, I select a tag, and now I have the option to either write a release note or write a release note and include the tag message on that, right? So I click.
That would take some sort of back end
No, okay.
to save that toggle, right?
Oh, okay. Because I thought that the other proposal also included this checkbox.
No, they're perpendicular.
Yeah. But then how do I pick? How do I choose if I want the tag notes on my release or not?
In this one, you don't.
Yeah.
They're just there. They're just like if
They're always going to be there.
Yeah, if you have tag notes anyways, right? Like you can make a tag without notes and then there would be no notes to show.
I think that's gonna upset people. not having the choice.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's what I thought. Like, okay, it's not either or, but that you're always going to have the checkbox because it's on or off, right? But I can only do that while I'm creating the new release.
Yeah. So we can do the checkbox, right? We can include that. It's just we need a backend person to come in and help out. Which, like, if that's the right answer, then that's the right answer. But it would have to be probably scheduled or whatever.
Well, we can have the front end ready, and maybe you can break it down, right, into for the sake of iteration. So, because I do think we're gonna add noise to this if we just add by default. I mean, if it's collapsed, and then you have the tag nodes, that's fine. But how are people going to disable that? That's the main question. By giving them the option to do that. That could be indeed phase 2, and then we need backend for that. But I think we should have that option, right? We can also always just validate after we push this change to production, but
yeah, we could.
So if we break it down, it will be this one, right? Where annotated tags on the release notes by default, right? And then next iteration, disable it while creating a release. Yeah.
Now the kind of the issue with all of that is that, well, I guess if we just include it by default, it'll be ready to go. But like if we start adding more scope and stuff, I have to get to the 15.0, whatever is in 15.0 first.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
But
sounds like a good plan.
but no, go back. I'm really trying to. In my head, it's really connected because okay, I'm here, right? And I click add release, add tag message, and now you're telling me that on the preview, it's going to be there, right? Magically. But when you click now create release, wouldn't the tag message also render on my release notes that my customers can see, that anyone really with access to the project will be able to see? Yeah, there you go.
This is like the core difference. So the checkbox adds this. Whereas I was like, what if we just had this by default? So
Okay.
these are like the two options, that I can do without getting into backend stuff.
Yeah, because then now what you show me now, I think this is great, right? You have the checkbox, you can select to have it yes or no, and then it will render there.
Right, and then you can go in. If you click the pencil, you can go in, and then you should be able to edit. See these notes, you can edit them now. You can remove the pre-blocks, but they're bundled in as part of the release notes.
But my question is, and it's the same question as last week, do we want people to edit their tags, the tag notes, because isn't that coming from the actual tag? So if I update my tag notes on the other page, on the actual tags page, what's going to happen? Because now it's not connected to the backend, right? So they're not communicating.
Here's a good, see? So this comes from the actual tag, and then this comes from the actual tag when you create the release. And then after that, you can edit it and stuff.
But now, if I now go into the tag and edit the tag description, will it update here?
I don't think you can do that.
No.
Oh, weird. Oh no, it just says edit release notes. No, ideally tags are immutable. You can like delete a tag and recreate a tag, which would delete the release that it's connected to. But you can also like, I don't know, this is an interesting question. Can you delete a tag locally and recreate it and push it, and then what happens to that release? I might have to try that out. But ideally, these tags should be considered immutable, like they shouldn't be able to be changed once they're created.
Yeah. I think to your question, I think that we fixed that problem of when you delete a release, you delete a tag and vice versa. That was an issue many months ago about that. That should have been fixed. So separate entities, right? That's my expectation. But that might not be the case.
I don't know. They're like pretty. They're pretty foundationally linked, I would say. Like that is a core design of how releases work. Is that they're based off of a git tag, because in like plain git land, a tag is essentially used as a release most of the time, and then the release acts, the GitLab release acts as a addition on top of the tag, where you can like have links and separate release notes and things like that.
Okay. Yeah, and now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think we fixed that. Nathan was working on that, I remember, but we had that as part of the scope, because if you go now to the release page to create release, we wanted to have that separation because, well, there's the use case, right, where you are creating a release, but you don't add release notes, or you just create that pre-release, but you don't really have a tag for that. And you want to go in your release item and edit a tag or update that so that it relates to that newer version. I don't think we're able to do that today, but it was a very specific use case for pre-release, and also so that we could support historical releases. I think that's in the backlog now. We're not prioritizing those scenarios.
Yeah, pre-releases are kind of an interesting. That's an interesting word. From a developer's perspective, a pre-release is just something that's like you go 8.0.1, and then a pre-release is just like say this is a beta release or something, right? Whereas I think maybe then in this case the tag would exist. But if you're trying to do like an upcoming release or something, like say you have a release scheduled 3 months out and you want to create it now, then you don't have a tag yet, right? That makes sense. Like a scheduled release. But
yeah, that's
I guess
the
I
restriction.
guess our friends have that feature, don't they, these days?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they have it by default. We do have upcoming releases, but it's also based on the milestone date, right? If you say,
Right.
yeah, and Sean was working on, maybe you as well, we worked on historical releases. I worked on design for that, the validation. But okay.
Yeah, but that's like that's a pretty, I don't know. We'd have to fix that kind of core fundamental part before we can.
Yeah. So I took some notes here of decisions made, right? So we're going with the checkbox because I think that's not only cooler, but it is also less intrusive than just having it by default. So you have that checkbox, and then it's just the direction that you created. And I think that's great. It's added to the things, and then when you click, exactly, it's created, and then it renders. But then it renders under there, right under the release notes. So
yeah,
right, release on top, tags on the bottom, and I think also on the create form. If you go back to the other page, I think we just swap the orders for the release notes and the tag checkbox. So
right.
put the checkbox at the bottom, because that's also how it's going to be, right? Because your priority in a way is the release notes, and then optionally include the tag message in the release notes.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I'll remove the I'll remove the pre-formatting.
Yeah. So remove the pre, and then when editing a release, user can uncheck, right? Uncheck the box. But
sorry, when editing?
Yeah, can they uncheck?
Probably not. Right, like, so the way it is now is that now, if we go into the edit, the checkbox is here because it's all proof of concept stuff, right? But because the tag notes are now already like, now that we're editing again, the tag notes are back in here. Like, it doesn't make sense to let them add the checkbox and then maybe I try and add it again or something.
Okay. Then I think what we're gonna have to do there is just, we can review that in the merge request, but make the help text very clear that optionally add a tag message in the release notes, and then something like tag message will be rendered in Markdown, and you can edit that after creating a release, something like that. So that just they just know that will be gone, right? So the checkbox will be gone. Checkbox should be gone, and then update the help text to let users know what happens when they click, and that they can edit it as Markdown. Okay. Oh, good. Less complicated, I guess. Coolio. Fun. Satisfied?
Yep.
Yeah. Then I'll quickly move forward to the upcoming priorities. We talked about, we can talk about that next week, right? So proactive themes, like just discuss a little bit of things we should be working on, like what you're doing now. I think it's great. But I just added here the 15.0 planning and then the 15.0 needs weight. Let me share my screen. So it's in the recording. So I reviewed this today for the P1s. I'm not blocking anything, and to your point, there's only one front-end issue here, right? But in my planning, I'm working on 1, 2, 3, well, and now 4, right? Issues that will be UX ready, hopefully by the beginning of next week. And that, yeah, if you have the capacity, we can incorporate on 15.0. So
yeah, we'll see how it goes.
okay.
I'm not expecting the one front end item to be too terribly tricky, but you never know.
It's the approved deployment.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then on the needs weight, I thought I added something here, but I just kind of wanted to see, can you weight this? Are they ready?
Yeah. For this one, do we still want to go with what we have here?
I don't know what we have. Let's see. Do we still want to go with the proposal? 2 months ago, we should be able to view the related production project environment at the group in a new section under, oh, this is a big one, eh?
Yeah.
Do we still want to do that? Good question. I'll follow up, I think, because that's a big issue. And I'll just
yeah, I think I pinged you on it last week, late last week, I think.
But but do we support environments at the group level? No. On the back end.
Good question. I don't think so. This is the next big one though, is group level environments and what that looks like.
This is the next big one. Okay, so I'll follow up. I'm already assigned to this, so I'll check planning breakdown. Okay, I'll follow up. I have too many questions. So
yeah.
And the next one, keep expanded states for environment folders, block environment details. So that's based on that customer feedback, right? To just keep it expanded by default.
Do we want this to be checkboxes, or do we want this to be like seamless, or?
I think just expand it, right? Or
just expanded by default.
Like expand it all? You mean have an option to expand it all? What do you mean by have a checkbox?
Yes, do we want some sort of interaction to have everything expanded by default? Do we want to have all of the environments expanded by default? Do we want to try to save what is and is not expanded?
Good questions. I think.
So the proposal says add an options drop down.
I see. Interesting. I think keeping everything open might not be the best idea. If you have way too many environments, you're also not going to find. I mean, if you want to do a common F and find information, that's good, but it's not going to help. It's not going to become more useful because of that. But also, I like what you say about like an interaction, like a controller, right? Expand all or just something like that. I wonder how that would look like, but I also wonder how the pattern would work. I don't think we have that anywhere in the product, do we?
Maybe in like security, they're like, they have that big vulnerability list, but probably not.
Okay, let me look at that. Maybe in security vulnerability. I'll look into it because It could be if the problem, I think we're solving a different problem here, right? Yes, it's the feedback from this one person, but also just the overall,
Yeah. I don't
behavior
want
of that
to.
page.
Yeah, I don't want to be like. I don't want to be implementing something specifically for this one person.
Yeah,
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
yeah. Well, that's one of the things, like this type of feedback. It's one of the things I'm hoping to validate during the interviews that I've scheduled or I'm trying to schedule with the customers. I send people some invites to talk about environment and these interactions, right? So yeah, it's one piece of feedback, but by looking at how other pages behave, it's not usable and it's not scalable. But I think that just expanding everything by default is not going to solve the problem for people to find information that they need on that page. But I don't know if it's technically feasible, and that's just me brainstorming a little bit here, that we can have a controller and then expand and collapse everything, yes or no. I think that'll be cool. That could be helpful. But
Okay.
to your point, yeah, does it solve the problem for that one person? Does it solve the bigger problem that is that page not being useful or usable?
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one you cannot wait, right? Necessarily. So it's on the needs way.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cannot wait.
cannot wait. And then the last one, show the deployment approval comments on the UI. This is on my backlog.
I don't know how this one ended up in the needs wait issue.
Yeah. Because right now the thing that Chris is, at least up to until now, have been moving the things that are ready for planning breakdown into the planning issue. But I think we should be moving the things that are UX ready, the things that we are discussing, to the needs way, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, this one is still in my backlog, but I think it just means that he wants us to wait this so that he can schedule it.
Right. But it's like not even.
No, not ready.
There's nothing.
No, I'm not. I updated the issue description, yeah, but I haven't added a proposal. So okay, that's that. And on my list, I have this, right, the one that we just saw. Also edit the number of required approvals for deployments. And then this is just UI text. And then this is the one that we're doing now. We just discussed.
Right.
Let's just open this one here. There is a proposal for this, and this is what we talked about. We talked about this last week, right? We already discussed this issue. This one.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I need to update the description, and then I'll move to the. I'll ask Chris if we can move this to the needs way once we have a proposal. But I would suggest, where's the needs way? I would suggest that, yeah, you voice this, right? That at least two of these, at least all of them, don't have a final proposal to be assessed.
Yep, I can do that.
Yep. And then I can point then to the ones that can be worked on. So that'll be cool. I think that's it. Yeah? Let me see. Did I close? I closed our doc. Oh no, here. Anything else, Andrew, that we didn't talk about?
Nope, I think that's it.
Okay. Okay, cool. I'll leave. Do you want me to leave the comments on the merge request, or do you know what to do?
I've got them written down here.
Cool. Then I'll check back later. All right. Thank you, Andrew.
Sounds good. I don't think I'll see you the rest of the week, so have a good long weekend.
Yes, you too. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.